single companies or single organisations to do it. Having some sort of innovation by committee, I don't think works.
But there are some pretty hard hitters involved in this proposal. Ellen, PGG Wrightson, Silverfern Farms and LIC. That's going to add quite a lot of weight to their ideas, isn't it?
Well, it will, and I think it's really good that the industry's working together to try and benefit the whole sector. But I agree with Bernard, we need to maybe look a bit further forward and think about adding value to what we do rather than rearranging the way we're doing things as they are. We need to change the fundamental approach.
My gut feel is that government intervention or some sort of government oversight is not the way to get innovation. I frankly would just...
slow it down. It's just, you know, how fast is that going to work?
Government departments don't get things innovating. Where you see true innovation, like Icebreaker, for example, that's an entrepreneur who's got together with farmers. They're now building stores, and that's where you get true paddock to plate, or in their case, paddock to
back.
Yeah. But looking at the dairy industry example, many people would say a lot of that success comes from having a large, strong international player like Fonterra. Is this what the red meat industry desperately needs, Ellen?
Well, they might need it, but they don't have it at the moment, so I don't know, and that also leads to the question of Fonterra seems to be cooking with gas now, but how long has it taken to get there and what mistakes and things has it made along the way? I mean, look at the capital restructuring it seems to be going through now, but there have been failed attempts in the past. The meat industry doesn't have the scale, it doesn't have the global markets that dairy industry does, so I'm a bit sceptical.
What about you, Bernard?
I think it is the holy grail that the meat industry's been looking for, and they've tried again and again to create this one company. It hasn't worked for them for whatever reason, political infighting, or just a lack of will. I'm not sure it's what you should be aiming for, actually, a single overarching company. What you need is true innovation in a marketing sense, in an engineering, technology sense, and sometimes that requires one organisation. It will come from small companies growing into large ones. The idea of slamming together several large ones, I don't think will work. And there's also some real questions about whether Fonterra has managed it. It's actually done well in the last couple of years because commodity prices have been high and they've kept shoveling more commodity prices out.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens in the meat industry. Now it's on to You Said It. Comment in the ag media that we want to talk about further. Tūhoe as a potential purchaser for Crayford Farms. That suggestion was made in the Sunday Star Times at the weekend, Bernard. A goer?
No, they're dreaming. This is a $100 million plus deal. This is not going to go through. We've already got May Wang and UBNZ Natural Dairy hunting hard for this. The OIO are looking at it, and the receivers, Michael Stiasny, has put the Crayford Farms up for sale in the last couple of weeks. It may well be broken up and sold off, but the idea of it being sold in one lot to any one person in New Zealand without an awful lot of bank funding is highly unlikely. So
Tūhoe wouldn't have the money even for some of the properties that would be of particular interest to them?
Oh, if they had more than $100 million, I'd love to know about it. And that's how much we're talking about for all of the Crayford Farms. And the banks, for example, are owed $200 million. And so they don't want to take a big hit either. So
it's just not going to work. No. OK. Ellen, what about some of the other comment that's been in the New Zealand Herald recently saying that the government should buy the Crayford Farms? Other comments saying Alan Crayford should get off his property. He's a failed businessman. The end is nigh.
It's sad, but I agree. He should get off his properties. The end is nigh. I hope it's going to go nicely. It's hard and it's sad because it's his livelihood and it's his home, but the realities are that it's a business deal and it's gone wrong and it has to finish.
Why do you think there is this public sympathy, if you like, which perhaps you wouldn't see for other companies or people going through receivership?
Because it's his home as well. It's not just a business. You get the good shots on TV of people, of a family in front of their home, and it hurts. It's not good. It's not a nice situation. But the financial fundamentals don't stack up. The receivers have been brought in, and he needs to leave. He's also been engaging with the media quite a lot, so.
That hasn't helped his cause an awful lot, has it?
Well, it kind of encourages us. We can't help ourselves.
We just love it, frankly.
Which I know is bad, but
it is bad. And there is a danger here that he crosses the line from being a lovable rogue / character into a joke. And I'm surprised that the dairy industry or federated farmers haven't taken Alan Crayford aside and said, you're making all farmers look horrible with this sorts of behaviour. The jumping on the cows, the trousers falling down. Let's step back a bit and look what he actually did. He borrowed $200 million to buy up neighbouring farms and to do things which he shouldn't have done, the bank shouldn't have allowed.
No.
And in the meantime, I handled the video of the animal abuse that happened inside his farms. Speak to any former employees, he is not a popular man. And I think for the good of everyone, he needs to step aside quietly. Danger too that farmers are alienating big sections of the core business community. You don't want to make an enemy of a guy called Michael Stiassny, and that's what he's done. It was an extraordinary statement in the last week from Stiassny coming out and slamming Crayford for what had gone on. Also, Alan Crayford is a cattle rustler. That's what he did. He helped remove 1,450 cows from his farms without the approval of the receiver. Why hasn't that been focused on by the media and by other farmers? Yet, surprisingly, they seem to want to jump up and back him. This needs to be ended.
It needs to finish. It needs to come to an end. It needs to come to a peaceful, quiet end, off camera and out of print.
Yeah, and will that happen before the farms are actually sold and get new owners, or is that unlikely with Alan Crayford showing his sort of true colours?
His true colours are unbalanced, uncooperative, and he needs to be taken aside and told to get it under control, because he makes all farmers look bad by doing this.
Look bad and look stupid, which is not something that farmers within the New Zealand economy want, and it's certainly not something globally. It's not a reputation we can afford to get.
No, absolutely not. Now, internationally, news just out that Australia is delaying its emissions trading scheme until at least 2013. This is playing out exactly the way that Federated Farmers said might happen, isn't it, Bernard?
It now means that New Zealand is ahead of the pack, not the fast follower that John Key said he wanted to be. There will now be increased pressure on John Key to shelve our own scheme, which is due to kick in within about 6 weeks to 2 months or so. July the 1st, this will due to start, and it will immediately hit people in the pockets, not just farmers but consumers who are buying power and petrol. This needs to be put on hold. I mean, if the Australians have put their scheme on hold and no one else seems to be going down this path, Copenhagen was a disaster. We really are hanging ourselves out to dry here.
What do you think, Ellen? It should be, the ETS should be off the radar, or
it should definitely. There should be a lot of talking going on behind the scenes at the moment. Nick Smith came out this week just straight after the Australian decision and said no, New Zealand is pushing ahead with its July deadline. So that's the public face they're giving us at the moment. I think there will be a lot of talk going on behind closed doors and things like that, and I don't think we've heard the last of this. I think there'll be, some delay, some adjustment. There's got to be something.
Well, on to the wool industry. Here we have the sorry yarn of wool's demise. Suggestions being made that perhaps New Zealand might look at a defleecing gene being bred into sheep again. Some of these ideas, Bernard, they're quite crazy. I mean, the fundamentals are this is a wonderful natural product.
It's a great product, if only everyone would buy it. That's the issue, particularly when you're up against marketers and technologists who can use other materials, obviously petroleum-based materials, to produce what we want to buy. And as much as you can complain about how people apparently don't want to buy wool, that the natural thing isn't working, it's not. And you have to come up with some innovative ways to not just sell materials, commodities, but sell brands and sell ideas and connections with New Zealand's fantastic landscape for a start. Now, come back to Icebreaker as an example here of someone who's done it correctly. And it is a problem for farmers, and maybe there's a way that they should look for other ways to make money, and many of them are through meat. I mean, wool seems to be an industry in terminal decline, and the same old solutions aren't working.
Well, talking about New Zealand's fantastic landscape, rural women are very upset that it's being despoiled by freedom campers who are getting a bit too free in their toileting habits. What's the solution,
to talk about? Thank you, Glenys. That's a hard decision. When I grew up going camping and there weren't campgrounds and you just, but I agree. There's something's got to be done with the numbers of people going camping these days. Something has to be done. It's a shame if we have to regulate it and put all the little tents in their little rows. It's a shame But I fear with the increased numbers, we have to do something like that.
What's the tourism industry's responsibility here, Bernard? They're attracting all these people to our country.
They have to be very wary of killing the golden goose here. This has come about because of a change in the campervan industry in the last couple of years. There's some very clever players